Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals.
And we're live. Hey, everybody, it's Jonathan Harmon with the J. Harmon Home Team powered by Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. And that is not Bryan, as you can probably tell. That is David Manier, somebody that works with Bryan. And I'd say probably in some ways smarter than Bryan.
I mean, I'm not going to say it, but if you're saying it, I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, I mean, Bryan's a good dude and all, and he trained David for a good part of what David does. But then David was smart enough to say, I think I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I lean on Bryan so much. He is an incredible guy, and I trust him with, to help me out with anything. So, yeah, kudos to Bryan. He's an amazing dude.
Yeah, and he is, again, not here. But I'm not bitter about it at all. So, Bryan, if and when you ever decide to come back, we'll see you then. But anyway, whatever.
Oh, might have lost your job over here. I might be the full-time stand-in now. Sorry, Bryan. But.
It's all right. It's all good. David is, of course, with Primis Mortgage. We were just talking about that. They do work together. You've been a loan officer with Primis now for how long?
Yeah, I think probably been about 3 years now at this point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah.
And before that, David helped with a lot of the processing and things that as Bryan would generate business. And I had the pleasure of working deals where you were helping Bryan. And that's a pretty cool way to get going. So if you're watching this and you're not a loan officer and you have the ability to do so, working under a loan officer, doing processing and doing all of that, you really learn the mechanics of the job. For
sure. No, it's definitely just learning all the behind the scenes, right? Because there's the front outward facing, right? Where you're out trying to get clients, right? That's, one whole part of the job is, we need deals like people to buy homes, right?
Sure.
But then once you get those people coming in that are ready to buy, well, okay, under contract, now we need to get them closed.
Yeah.
So I got to learn everything from behind the scenes and really, figure everything out. And I was able to learn so much, and just getting to watch Bryan, like how he does things, and just, it helped me grow so much in my career. And then, finally felt like it was time to, spread my wings and fly on my own. So
Sure.
Yeah, Bryan, he was an amazing resource, and super thankful for him, everything he's done.
Yeah. It's really good for a loan officer to know those behind the scenes things. Cause man, I'll tell you what, I've had circumstances where a loan officer either doesn't know or doesn't have any kind of say-so, doesn't have any kind of sway on some processing sides of things. And it can really make a deal go sideways pretty fast. Yeah. Maybe they missed something in a pre-qual. Maybe they, a little hiccup happens. And rather than them try to think of a way around it or through it, they just kind of say, oh, well, sorry, processing said this. And they don't try to troubleshoot. They just kind of take it.
That's tough. And so that's one thing I personally love about Primis, where we're at now, is that we have access to talk to our underwriters.
Yeah.
Right. There are some mortgage companies and, bigger banks that don't have that access. Right. And it's like 24, 48 hours where you can get a response from an underwriter.
And the response is the response.
Right. And it's just like, hey, what I told you is what it is. And so it's like, okay, I just waited 2 days for you to tell me exactly what you told me before. Right. And you're not willing to budge on this. But, at Primis, like the underwriters we have, they, will talk to us, email us. They want to make the deals work. That's one thing I love about our company is that, some companies it's, hey, this is black and white. It works or it doesn't. And, it doesn't matter if this closes or not. Right. Like our team, we genuinely want to close these deals. Right. Yeah. We know that these are real people buying homes. Right. If somebody's selling their house, right, and they're trying to buy another house and, something comes up and they aren't able to buy it, right, then that person can end up homeless. And that's not a situation we want anybody to ever be in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And I've seen that from your company as well. So pretty cool. Well, we are going to get right into the rest of the show, and we're going to do our headlines first. You've got something for that. So hold just a second. Go ahead. right. Headlines. You brought something to the table. Let's hear it. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So I actually was just reading a news article this morning, just trying to stay on top of my craft, figure out, what's going on with interest rates. Cause it honestly has been a roller coaster over the last several months, a lot of,
I would say couple years.
Well, even
point.
years.
Yeah.
So kind of going back a couple months, right? We were, back in late February, we were finally starting to see rates creeping down like into the fives. It's like first time that we'd seen that in years.
And it was moving slow enough that we thought, okay, here we go.
It was
this is the soft landing we've been preaching. Yeah.
Exactly. And we were like, oh my gosh, I'm like, let's go to 5.5. Let's get down to 5. Let's
come on, baby.
And I was like, come on, let's go. And then, everything just started kind of happening geopolitical wise, right? Everything that's kind of been going on, out there in Iran with the whole war, kind of causing inflation to, drive.
Oh, not kind of.
Yeah, it's really doing it, like driving, interest rates back up some, right? We've started seeing, prices of oil rise. I mean, everybody's been seeing gas prices go up like crazy.
Well, we're back up to the 7s on the rates,
right?
Or
brushing. Not quite there, but we've started pushing. But actually, yesterday they started coming down a little bit. So good news there. There's been real talks of potentially a treaty actually happening now, and like this is starting to cool off. I mean, we've been saying this several times, but I think this time it might actually happen. And so we've started seeing the market actually starting to show that. So rates have started coming back down a little bit, creeping back down closer to around 6.5. So hopefully, we do that. But so the article I was reading was asking the question, when can we see rates at 5% again? Right. If we're up here, north of 6.5, I'm like, that's a lot of ground to cover, Jonathan, to try and get all the way back down to 5.
Especially when realistically the movement is typically not more than a quarter point.
Quarter point is an insane movement if you're talking about like over a day or two. Usually whenever
I'm saying we're going to move rates down. You're not seeing stuff more than that.
Right.
You're not going to see half point drops.
No,
you're just not going to see
it. And if we do, it's going to be over a time period.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think right now, right. So a lot of people are saying, hey, I need rates to be closer to 5, especially people that, bought and have, 6% interest rates, 6.5, 7 interest rates.
Or people that bought a few years before that and they're sitting at 2.5 or 3. And they're stuck. Yeah,
for sure. No, I mean, it's harder for people to move off of a 2.5% rate to go to, close to 7% rate versus going to, 5.5. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I totally hear that. And that's, something I deal with a lot. So I think what we're looking at right now is, it's kind of going to be whenever the war settles down and we really start to see, all right, we're pulling out of there, right? This is calming down now. We're starting to see oil flow through the strait, right? We start to see, oil prices going down. We start to see inflation starting to come down a lot. I think once we get to that point, I think that's whenever we're really going to start to see rates go down at a pretty substantial rate in my mind, just because we've been up for so long, just that gradual increase. I think it's now we're going to start gradually declining again. So I think hopefully by the end of the year, we'll see rates around 6. That's kind of my hope. I don't know, as far as getting down to 5, that's probably going to be maybe a couple years into the future.
What did the article say? Did it give a date?
No, there's no way. It didn't give a date. No,
did it say second quarter of 2027?
Yeah, exactly. No, it literally was just like, hey, whenever we, see, U.S. pull out there, the strait open, everything is calmed down. That's whenever we're going to see it start to gradually.
So really, this article didn't say anything.
Not much. I mean, it's hard
to go, article writer.
Kind of predict things, but. So that's kind of, interesting to just kind of think about is once we start to see things really settle down there, I think that's whenever we're really going to see things do better.
All right. Well, thanks for not really any news there.
Hey, listen, that's what I had prepared for. If you don't like it, then all right. But
that was more than what I had prepared. So that's perfect.
This guy.
All right. That's good. Nessa, I think we're ready for This Is Real. You got one on deck for us?
Oh my gosh.
And so the shtick here is that this is an actual MLS photo taken from an MLS, not necessarily our MLS, but this was actually a photograph used to market a home for sale. And I mean, okay, so there was this time when people were talking about using video vignette to show how the house lives. I think this is taking that just a little too far. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, she's just sitting there on the computer, just chilling. What is this?
There's a dog, hasn't really cleaned up. it almost looks, and it's way up high. So I almost wonder if this didn't come from like a security camera. Like,
oh my gosh, it could be, or they're like, the photographer's just like they're like with their hands just like up super high taking the photo. Got to get the wide angle on here.
So yeah, this is an actual MLS photo. And my question always when there's people and pets in the shot is, do they convey with the home?
Do they convey with the home? Do you have to write that on the contract of like person in the photos to convey with the home?
The dog conveys with the home.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible. All right, next. Yeah, we have seen some bad ones. All right, so pro tip. So the pro tip this week. What was our pro tip this week? We talked about it.
Oh, the pro tip, it was don't go out and buy, giant trucks if you're trying to buy a home.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So as you guys may or may not know, when calculating a loan, seeing what you guys, what you're able to be qualified for, they look at every payment. They also look at credit inquiries and all of those kinds of things.
Yep.
So if you have gone under contract and you're in that little, 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 6 weeks, somewhere in that time frame span that you're waiting on the financing to be finished up or waiting to close, anything that you do financially speaking, any large payments out, any large payments in,
yep, that's
actually
true. That's true.
That are unusual can derail things, can't they?
Yeah, and the only reason I bring this up is I feel like I've had 3 different people I've talked to on applications over the last month that have had, $800,000 a month truck payments. They're trying to buy a home, right? They make, $5,700 a month or so. So like decent income if you're trying to buy like a $300,000 home, $350,000, you're qualifying for that typically. But whenever we add in, hey, there's also $1,000 I'm spending on a truck. Like there's no way that
you like your truck.
You can qualify for that. So I'm like, hey, listen, I'm like, are you sleeping in the truck? Like, what are you doing? Or it's like, hey, if you really want to buy a home, I'm like, we need to either A, sell this truck, B, or start being really aggressive and start paying it off so we can get that, liability off the books.
Or add income.
Yeah. Or add income. That's one situation I'm talking with this guy is adding on cosigners. So that's another really awesome, helpful opportunity where if you're not able to qualify by yourself, like adding on a parent or somebody that, wants to cosign for you.
Let me ask you this. If they were to add a second job, if they were to add, let's say that they were to take that truck and put it to work,
sure,
do an Uber or whatever, at what point can you count that type of income?
Yeah, that's a fair question. So usually whenever we're looking at second job income and we're trying to qualify both, they want to see you do it for 2 years. So it's along the lines of the self-employment guidelines, right? Where we want to see, if you're doing a self-employment job, we want to see that, you've done it for 2 years so we can average that out. Same thing with this, right? Whenever an underwriter's looking at your employment situation, they want to see, hey, this guy can hold 2 jobs for a 2-year period. Like this is sustainable, consistent income,
this
right?
Isn't a 5-month window to get qualified.
Yeah, this isn't going to be just, hey, I'm going to, ride share, Uber, do whatever like that for a month so I can qualify for this home and then stop doing it. Yeah, usually they're going to want to see it a 2-year consistency. They're having 2 jobs.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, next we've got a shiny penny. Okay, shiny penny today. We've each got one, so let's talk about yours real quick. Go ahead.
So I'm a big NBA guy. Like I love, just kind of following basketball. Big sports guy. I grew up playing baseball, basketball, soccer, all of that. So conference finals are going on right now in the NBA. Like I know you're not a huge basketball guy.
I'm aware that it's happening.
Yeah, you're aware of it. It's going on. But no, there's been some really incredible games. Like game 1 for the Spurs and the Thunder that happened a couple days ago. That one went to double overtime, and that was just an incredible game to watch.
Who was I think my son was telling me about this. There was a guy I don't remember his name, but he had like 41 points and like
Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
So this dude, he's like 7'5", I believe,
and a monster apparently.
Which just a little bit taller than me, right?
Right.
So but yeah, he's huge guy, French dude. But yeah, he had it was like 42 points and like 24 rebounds,
but also like 18 blocks and
dude's in
bananas.
He's a monster. Yeah, it's just crazy to see, but just the high level of play that's going on right now. So like if you care about basketball at all, like this is a really good time to watch. And I actually, have Prime Video, and so that's one thing I usually, would watch stuff on. And they've actually been streaming a lot of games on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can actually, log in and watch some of the games on there.
Very nice. Well, I have a shiny penny as well, and if you guys know me very well, and I think you know me well enough to know this, I give credit where credit's due, and right now I am working alongside two other agents here in our market, and totally different deals, totally different scenarios. But it's just really nice to work with pros. And so I'm gonna give a shout out to Miss Leanne Bedsole and also to Mr. Bill Jakes, both of you guys working on two different deals with y'all, and it's just refreshing, man. It's refreshing to work with someone that cares as much as I do about taking care of their client.
Yeah.
And helping get to that end result, which is what everybody's really striving for, but also doing so in a clean, well-managed, knowledgeable, professional way. So shout out to both of those folks. I'm a fan. It's not real often that you'll hear me say that about some of my colleagues, but in this case, credit is due. So Leanne, Bill, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
You had to pick one deal, one agent to work with. Who's your favorite out of the two of them?
Refuse to work that one. Or to answer that question, that will not happen.
Bait you a little bit there,
way to try to trap me. I do not have all the disclaimers that you have. However,
oh man,
yeah. Oh, this guy. Tell you what, Brian, hurry up and get back here.
That's funny.
Actually, Brian might actually do the same thing to me, but I will still not answer. Doggone it. Yeah, that's funny. All right. Other stuff going on this weekend. It is, of course, Memorial Day weekend. I know a lot of folks are traveling. The weather's going to be iffy. So be careful out there, y'all. Watch for idiots on the road. Don't be an idiot on the road.
Yep.
So both, right? But then also Cedar Glade, we've got a big party tomorrow night. Been looking at the weather, been looking real close. It looks like we're going to be okay. So bring an umbrella, but I don't think we're going to get just completely monsooned on.
That's good.
Yeah, we hope. And anyway, so that'll be fun. Music starts at 6:00. And we've got two different acts. Roland Justice and Bo Tatum are each playing a set. Tennessee Craft Butchers Meat Wagon will be there.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
it's a tailgate party, so you get a chance to, I think they're all full now, but you get to set up a tailgate in our parking lot. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice.
So come out and check that out.
Yeah.
Anything else you got going on this weekend?
Probably just go to the pool. Like we opened up our community pool finally, so just go hang out there with the kiddo. Like we just got back from Panama City Beach a couple weeks ago, and so my kid was living it up in the ocean out there, and he loved being at the splash pad in the pool, and so it's let him get in the pool here. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah. See ya. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see y'all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Primis Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC. Primis Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, BK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guidelines. Equal housing lender.